that will be coming with the interview segment, and our guest is already in the house this morning, and we were looking at something that just happened recently. If you watch the news, if you suddenly hear that all the borders that had been closed are suddenly open, and they've been opened, and some are saying, were they actually closed in the first instance? But that's not for us to talk about. Somebody is in the house. Dr. Oluwole Adeyemi, an economist and a lecturer at Chrisland University. We'd like to welcome you to the set of New Dawn.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma.
Good morning.
And good morning, our fears.
All right. So we were looking at border reopening and the economic impact. But then, let's begin from here. Why did we have to close our borders?
Well, globally,
Okay.
all economy of the world have policies about their border closure, especially for security purpose and for internal economy. This is as a result of, if the body were left open, anything can come in.
Okay.
So closure of the border has both positive and negative impact, and it has its implication on the economy. So let me just stop on that for now.
Okay. Now, we're looking at the economic impact. These past months that we've had the borders closed, has it really impacted maximally on our economy? Can we really say that we've got some economic gains out of it?
Well, going by the argument of the government before the closure of the border, especially the land borders, that in order to protect farmers and to stop the proliferations of arms, firearms and small arms into the country, and to prevent influx of foreigners that are disturbing our country. Now, if we now want to look at the data, the post closure of the border, one positive things we can just point to is the fact that every year the custom department usually come to give the reports of the activities and what they have achieved. I think the January report of the customs stated that they made for the year 2021 they made like 2.24 trillion naira, which is as a result of the closure of the border and some other measures taken by the Controller General of the Custom. And prior to 2021, in year 2020, they made like 1.5 trillion naira into the cover and revenue generated from that department. Okay. So we see that as a positive impact that comes into government revenue. And so adding to that, if you want to go on the negative aspect or the negative side, okay, the government said, okay, in order to protect the local industries, farmers, importation of rice was stopped in order to aid the internal growth of rice and some other commodities. Like 41 imported items were banned. Okay. But despite the closure of the border, after the reopening, before the reopening of the first four in 2020 and the current one, which just happened on the 22nd of this month, yet we have this banned item flooding Nigerian market. How did it get to Nigerian market? So those are the questions to ask. So then apart from that, we have some other negative impacts.
With the gains that you've mentioned, are you saying that now that the borders are opened, customs would no longer generate as much as they did when the borders were shut?
Actually,
or they are going to make more money?
Definitely they may make less or more, because due to the reopening of the land borders,
That's the official
route that people pass. So there could be some other ones that may want to pass through. And I knew that some goods that pass through Benin Republic to Nigeria, there could be increase in the revenue that the custom will generate, because as at the time, August 2019, a lot of people that trade and pass through that border were unable to do their trade and pass through. So it could result in increased revenue. But added to that is that all this increased revenue and the one generated via oil, non-oil trade and all those ones, all the money accrued through value-added tax in trillions. Yet we still go on borrowing.
Let's also look at another angle to the economic impact of border opening. They talked about, when the government actually shut the border, you see the government of Benin Republic and other countries, neighboring countries that shares border with us, they were coming to meet the president to talk about different things. And at the level of economy now, Nigeria was more or less, alleging that, Benin Republic is allowing, those that are actually bringing in stuffs into the country, things they don't even need in their own country, they allow them to bring it into Nigeria. Do you think there is a level of collaboration at this stage to make sure, smuggled items that are banned in the country are not allowed into the country through Benin Republic, for example?
Well, regarding that, in the first instance, Nigeria is a member of ECOWAS and also a member of the Treaty of African Continental Free Trade Area. So, doing contrary to the spirit and the letter and the spirit of this treaty will not mean well and will not uphold Nigerian integrity. So, the coming of those presidents and representatives of those countries in first instance meant well. But now, the responsibility now lies on the custom officers that man our borders to now see to it that most of these banned items will not find their way into the country. Talk less, when these borders were closed, these items find their way into Nigerian markets. Now that the border is open, I doubt and I don't know what will happen.
Okay, we also have the porosity of our borders. When you look at, like you said, definitely those things were actually finding their way into the country through the illegal route. And if custom officers are going to be deployed, how many of them can be deployed? So people are saying that we should rely more on technology. So now that they are opening the border, did you see or have you seen any report as to how they are trying to mitigate smuggling at the borders by putting in place different technologies that could work in favor of the government to nip that in the bud?
Well, before the opening of the border, I have not seen anything in place regarding technology or any means of improving on the surveillance or keeping the border safe. And despite the fact when the border were closed, I have witnessed on several occasions when I pass along the border routes or border routes, when smugglers brought their things in on the road, Nigerian road, manned by several security agents and custom officers. At times, when you travel down around the Mecca or the border road, you see physically Okada riders packaging their rice in jerry cans, even some in bags, and they'll just wrap it. You think it's farm items or produce. Yet, when they get to the checkpoint, they will stop, they settle their way. Vehicles, covered and well sealed, will pass through. Some will go ahead, must have booked ahead or right on the point they will book, or some will park ahead, come down, make their booking, and they will pass. So what now tells us that will not continue? And after some of these things find their way in, some of these custom officers will now begin to pursue them right in the market or in the streets.
One happened this morning.
Very recently. Imagine.
And,
right in. So where do those things pass through before they get into the middle of the town?
Now, let's now come to one issue that baffles me, and that's the fact that you we've been on this for a long time. Is it that we are not proactive? Is it that we don't have research and development units? Is it that we don't have people who are thinking that, you know, we go through this crisis over and over again, you know, and you're looking at, okay, something happened along this route this morning now, you know, and it's sickening. The question you want to ask is, if you police the borders well, would any material come in? So how can we get out of this logjam?
Well, to say the facts, it's like the government is not proactive enough, because we keep saying the same thing.
Is the government really serious? Let me ask you.
Well, I may not want to say that, because I don't have the statistics to see or to say whether the government is serious about it or not serious about it.
But with what you see,
but with what everybody is glaring to everyone. Actually, most of this thing happening may just be because of the coming election or political reason or whatever. And imagine if, apart from research and development, there are a lot of researches that are just gathering dust on in the university shelves, in the library, and several other places. Some recommendations. At least even in my last research I did about trade and the devaluation of naira, whatever, I still made some recommendations. Some of it have been published both in the local and international journals. Okay. Yet, no government will assess. Even those ones that are presented, maybe that could be presented to them in terms of proposal or whatever, nothing will be done, except the one that they think maybe could fetch them some other things. And the government is not, the willingness is not there, the capacity, and I don't know, a lot of things that government could have done to help. Yeah.
When the borders were actually shut, a lot of people started crying that, oh, you want to stifle the economy, the common people, and people start asking questions that the people, do they really understand what it means to smuggle things into the country, sabotaging their own economy and all of that? And that's according to those people with those kind of thought. That are we not also allowing, or are we not also looking at it from the angle of people not being well informed as to why they need not to bring things that are illegal into the country or not?
Okay. Now, let's talk, for example, importation of rice. Is eating rice legal or illegal?
That's a jam question.
And if we do not have enough production, we don't have enough production. Imagine, before the closure of the land borders, we know how much we bought our rice cost. And after the banning, in order to aid local production, did we increase on our local production? The government that says, okay, we should go to farm, produce more. People went to their farm to harvest rice. On the day of harvest, some hoodlums or bandits, or what do they call them, come around, kidnap them, kill some of them, and government come to tell us openly that they did not take permission before they go to their for their harvest. Okay. So where do you see the seriousness? We closed the border without increasing local production. What do we want people to eat? The first basic necessity of human in economics or in anything is food.
So the pyramids, the rice pyramids, all the pyramids are
there. Well, I don't know where it is, and I know there are few productions there, but look at the population of Nigeria. As of today, it's like 216 million over.
So what must the people be prepared to do at this stage, the government?
Now, with all seriousness, the people should be prepared. Now,
prepared for what?
Prepared for, one, opening of our border as a treaty to all this organization and what's it called, zonal, regional integration. It helps. One of the factors of globalization is open trade. We have places like United Arab Emirates that opened their border but did not open it to just junks. Okay. The best of all quality has to be brought into the country before it will be allowed. So if we embark on such, trade openness and some other things will help us. Now, the people should be prepared that, well, it is not good for us that our borders should just be opened, and now people should be ready to produce more. Local production, increase in local production, but the government also should be ready to make all necessary things that will aid the production. Look at the cost of energy, the cost of diesel and some other things. Look at electricity, look at many things that is hampering growth and development of the small-scale enterprises. So if government is ready and make an enabling environment available for these small scales, it will help. During the closure of this border, over 3,000 jobs, industries or business were closed down. And over 300,000 jobs were lost as a result of that. Some of these small-scale enterprises ship in their goods through the closed and near border. And some of them, before they will be able to go, not ordinarily in an illegal form, but even legally, once it is closed, they can't bring in their goods. The high rate of import duty and tariffs and many other things is killing for some of these young industries or upcoming business enterprises. So if government will be ready to help the people, and people will be ready to help the government, I think Nigeria will be better and the economy will improve. Look at the inflation rate, look at the growth rate of the GDP and many other things that is pointing to. But what's this one? Sheikh Hussaini from Kaduna just yesterday Punch said that the Nigerian government should even apologize to the people of Nigeria for closing the border.
I don't know if you've seen the statistics after that post-border closure of what we've been able to achieve, where we were, where we are now. I don't know if you've seen any documents.
I have not seen any tangible statistics to support the viability or the success of the closure of the border. There's no in fact, in the real sense, most of our macroeconomic variables has worsened since that 2019, the beginning of the closure of that
so that
border.
Shouldn't be an option in the future.
In the nearest future, is not the option until we improve on our local production.
So
that will meet up with the increasing
production.
Now, but before we let me just take this question, because some people are of the opinion that look at the Republic of Benin, a lot of vehicles coming. They get, if you go to, you get, they make a lot of money.
Yes. But
here, we, by our own strong head, if I can use it that way, we make it so difficult, so you now find that somebody said that's the reason why people are smuggling things into the country. Do you buy that line of thought?
Yes.
Or if government, is there a way the government can align things? Sometimes if somebody is selling something at 5 naira and it's causing a lot of problem, you bring your own to 4 naira 50 kobo and you crash the market. Is it possible for government to do something like that, or we just continue to go on 20 naira, and we keep wondering why we have crisis?
Let me be frank with you. This happened to me, I think, around 2008. I want to bring in an automobile from United States, and the cost of purchasing the car and shipment was just around 1 million naira. A Jeep, for that matter, that cost just $3,000 then, plus the shipment and whatever. Getting to Nigerian shore, the clearing tariff and everything that I need to pay duty on that vehicle, almost double or close to the amount with which I bought the vehicle.
Okay.
Many importers today are crying because it's not easy. In fact, the cost of what they bought and what they brought in to Nigerian border with shipment, the tariff and import duty and everything they need to pay on it is even more than what they brought in. So all government will reduce those things. People will not go buy smuggling. People will not go fire all these porous.
But would it be economical for us? Because if it's a viable option, then I think it will make sense for. But will it be economically viable for us as?
It will.
Okay.
Talking about the volume.
So from the standpoint of an economist.
As an economist, it will. Because, take for example now, if the border were let open and people are allowed to bring in, there will be competition.
Okay.
Goods of higher value will come to Nigeria. If I have my money compared to what's it called, to Nigerian product, I will choose. And if the cost of bringing quality rice to Nigeria is like, let's say, 10,000 naira, and Nigerian produce one, maybe like a father which has higher nutrient and fiber and whatever compared to the parboiled one, it's like 20,000 naira. If I could not afford the 20,000 naira, I would go for the one of 10,000 naira. Legally, they go through legal clearing and they were brought in. So then those follow will crash the price.
So where do we draw the line? Encouraging local production and of course opening up our borders as well.
Well, this policy has to be balanced because as it were, we did not have enough production or local production. Most of our industries and production sites are down for now because of the harsh policy and harsh economic system, inflation rate, and several other factors. But if, and at the same time, the economy is growing, I mean, the population is growing. If the population is growing at 2.56 rate per annum, and the growth rate of the GDP is at, let's say, 3% something, almost at par. Now, if the government relax and allow things to come in through the border, people do and reduce the tariff and the importation duty, people will go through the border rather than going through other porous route and revenue will be generated. Many people that have been doing this business, they will go. There will be standard, like Standard Organization of Nigeria and all these people now, that everybody will be up and doing their responsibility. So standard goods will not be allowed in. United Arab Emirates have such policies. Quality, the best of all quality in terms of anything has to be brought into their country, and yet things are getting better. Why can't we do the same?
Let's quickly explore the security aspect of it. So they said, before closing the border, they talked about how small arms and light weapons are being smuggled into the country. I don't know if, with the look of things, you can see that we no longer have that, and if we still have it, so what exactly are we doing, or do we need to do?
That is one of the questions we have to ask ourselves and ask the government. We were all alive before the closure of the border, and now we are here. Okay. Now, and we read news, we listen to news, and we read dailies. And before the closure and after the closure, most of these firearms and evil perpetrated and foreigners filled in Nigeria has even increased. After the closure. So why do we now close the border? It's one of the points that Sonny raised yesterday. Firearms, kidnapping and all this, it has even gotten to the next level. Or perhaps maybe what is...
who are we deceiving? Now, there's a question I also want to ask, and that's about, standards. Okay. Because when you're talking about border reopening, you're talking about goods coming in, you're talking about... Why is it that China, for example, when you get to the U.S., Chinese products in U.S. are
of high quality.
Why do we call it Shinko here or something? Why do we have that disparity? Is it that our government is just like a bicycle, and China can just bring anything in? Or, because it still comes in through the borders anyway. So, where do we place the blame? Because China itself doesn't, in US, the quality, Chinese quality materials in US, they are very strong. But when you come to Nigeria here, you begin to ask yourself, is it the same? So, where is the problem and how can it be fixed?
Well, the problem lies between the governments and the people. The governments have agencies. Okay. They have like NAFDAC, like Standard Organization of Nigeria, and some of that ones that have to regulate what is being produced or what should be brought into the country. Okay. And yet we have borders. Most of these things will pass through the borders without being tested or without, Now, the importers themselves, they want to make money. Okay. They are the ones that will go down there, so we'll reduce this standard. I don't know whether you have seen in the recent time, even oils for servicing of our vehicles and all these things are so much lower in standard, to the point that if you were the type that do your service within 2 months before, you have to be doing it every month now. Quality of oil, quality of food, quality of clothes, quality of everything are so much reduced. Apart from quality, look at the quantity, look at the price. Price are so much increased, and yet you look at the package, but when you see the contents, nothing. Ordinary Coke, the texture and the quantity, the quality of the Coke we are being supplied here or being produced within the shore of Nigeria. At least they didn't import Coke, they didn't import Fanta, they didn't import Biggie Cola. Who is in charge? Where is NAFDAC? Where are these other control agencies?
When you cross to the other side,
and when you cross to the other side, you taste quality. Things even here in Benin Republic or very other places, quite different. What is happening with us? What is wrong with us? The government is there, in the gateway of the government, the control agencies are there, and yet the importers will just bring in rubbish and they turn Nigeria to the dumping ground for rubbish being produced elsewhere. And it is this Nigeria that will go there and ask them to just lower the standard and the quality and do these things.
What you're saying is a lot of things is actually involved in this.
A lot. The government should rise up and wake up to their responsibilities. Then the agency, the control agencies should also rise up to their responsibilities. Why will substandard goods find their way into Nigeria if you have a standard? They dare not try it with other countries of the world.
Example, was it not the oil where we suffered?
Yeah. Imagine, and somebody was in charge. We had the quality control. Look at electricity. There is a commission. Look at the standard of calls. Look at network and every other thing. Who are those people saddled with those responsibilities? When we have maybe round pens, round poles in square holes, and a lot of things because of maybe political reasons. People that do not have the wherewithal or the power or the wisdom or the knowledge or the qualification to be where they are. But because of the quota system or whatever, they push them there.
Are you sure it's always about that or not about the kickbacks that comes with the
everything. Nigeria is just that peculiar. Everything added together, all factors put together.
Nigeria, where we hope that things will get better. How do we now get out of all this? We're looking at border reopening. We're trying to look at, have we really got any economic impact out of it? Okay, now the borders are opened now. How do we ensure that we reap the best out of all of this?
Well, everything, because they said, easy lies the head that wear the crown, everything comes down to the government. If the government has because the leader takes the blame, if the government has the willpower to ensure or to enforce what they want, they will have it. Now, for the government should be ready to ensure, to implement policies that will aid local production, policies that will control the border. We have border control patrols, a lot of other things. Do they really control? There should be control. One, so that all those firearms, whatever. And Nigerians also have a way of disguising. Recently, in the bags of potato and some other things, firearms were kept inside. If we have some of these digitalized or maybe computerized equipment that could aid crime, just like getting to airport, you want to pass through, no matter how you hide cocaine or some other thing, if there is no support of other agents, it will not go, it will not pass. We should be ready to get those things ready. And the populace also should be ready to do the best to make Nigeria the best. If we are going by the way we are going, I fear for the future of Nigeria.
Well, let's keep hope alive. We don't have to. Something somehow, somewhere somehow, something will work. We want to thank you very much, Dr. Oluwole Adeyemi. I've been looking at border reopening, the economic impact. But we just have to keep hope alive.
Let's keep hope alive.
That things will be better.
Amen.
Well, that's about all we'll be able to take now on this segment. We'll go to the next segment after.